What if the U.S. lightning raid on Venezuela, snatching Maduro in a made-for-TV spectacle, is blinding us to a far deadlier trap with Iran? A trap where hubris could spark a war unlike any we've seen. Welcome to this urgent deep dive, where we uncover the hidden truths of global affairs. Let's break this down step by step. In my analysis, the Venezuela operation screams overconfidence. It was quick. It was flashy. But linking it to Iran, that's a dangerous leap. Think about it. Lindsey Graham tweets that the Ayatollahs better watch out. They know what's coming if they don't submit. Confusing, right? Venezuela wasn't a massive war, no full naval assault, just a targeted snatch and grab. Operation Absolute Resolve launched on the 3rd of January 2026. U.S. forces bombed northern Venezuelan infrastructure, suppressed air defenses. Delta Force raided Maduro's compound in Caracas, captured him and his wife, Celia Flores, whisked them to New York for trial on narco-terrorism charges. It lasted 2.5 hours. Explosions lit the night sky. Helicopters hovered low, silhouetted against flames. Great imagery, but risky. Those choppers, sitting ducks for ground fire, an AK-47 could have riddled them. Stinger missiles? Even easier takedowns. Why didn't it happen? Insiders. A mole on the ground. Venezuelan air defenses stayed silent. A deal was cut. We landed, grabbed him, and flew out. Mostly theater. Venezuela chose not to punch back hard. Escalation wasn't in their interest. They took the bloody nose, walked away. But Iran? That's a different beast. A snarling tiger, not a caged cat. Kidnapping their leader? Impossible. No insiders this time. Their military? Battle-tested in missile warfare? Air defenses? Stronger than we admit. Recent data backs this. Iran's ballistic missile arsenal? Over 1,500 missiles left after last year's clashes. Launchers? Around 200. They've upgraded. The Fatah? 2 hypersonic missile, game changer, penetrates defenses. Their air defense systems, like the Bavar 373, rivals Russia's S-400. We've seen it in the 1-2-day war with Israel in 2025. Iranian missiles pierced top-tier defenses, U.S. and Israeli systems combined. Still, breakthroughs, hubris here, unwarranted. Venezuela was a cakewalk. Iran would be a maelstrom. It's a massive problem across the board. But this is information warfare, pure and simple. Convincing Americans we're invincible. Caroline Leavitt, White House press secretary, from the podium yesterday. Ahead of those Oman talks on the 6th of February, 2026, she said it, we have the most powerful military in the history of the world. Iran should remember that in negotiations. Many buy it. To feed that belief, paint Venezuela as a masterpiece. Military art. Only America could pull it off. Unstoppable. But facts? We had help. Massive insiders. Air defenses offline. Helicopters untouched. Those dramatic scenes? Intentional. TV moments. Explosions for show. To look like victory. Helicopters flying low. Over hostile territory. Without fire? A deal. Insiders ensured no shots fired. No missiles launched. We landed, picked them up. It was arranged, flew off. 2.5 hours. Mostly spectacle. Nothing to do with Iran. Zero. Graham saying otherwise? Either naive or worse, bluntly stupid. Or his goal? Not to scare Iranians, but to hype us. Make Westerners think we're unbeatable. Iranians should tremble. Iranians know better. No Delta Force snatch here. No help inside. Their military, profound missile capabilities. Better air defenses than believed. We'll find out. Painfully. Fly aircraft there? Chagrin awaits. Anti-aircraft fire. Planes down. Their patrol boats. Fast boats. Kilo-class subs. Could sink our ships. We can be hurt. Unlike Venezuela, they lacked capacity. Even if they wanted to fight, they'd take it in the teeth. Couldn't shoot back. Day and night different. Key difference. Trump's potential miscalculation. Limited strike idea. Venezuelans happy with a bloody nose. Walked away. No more pain. Iranians? No. A U.S. bombing run degrades their government, weakens the nation, opens doors for more. Goal? Explicit now. Regime change. In Iran, no replacement ready. No unifier. Toppling means balkanization. Destroying Iran. Existential threat. Can't take one on the chin. Smile. Walk happy. Foreign minister's words. We'll hit back with everything. Even small strike. Logic? Solid, based on mounting evidence. Trump amassed gear, weapons for days of bombing. Then, tell Iranians, we're done, go home. They're relieved? Illogical, miscalculation. Look at Venezuela. Incentive there. We signaled, give us Maduro, your oil, regime stays. Military? Positions intact. Graft? Corruption? Legendary. But keep it, out-offered, work with us, keep power. Iran? Opposite signal. No survival, none in charge. If Trump's plan? Demonstration. Blow stuff up, walk away, claim victory. Sabotaged himself. Rhetoric screams regime change only. Publicly, regime change. Privately, maybe. Just a show. Wag finger. Don't do it again. Iranians? Fools to believe. We'd lie. History proves it. Put myself in their shoes. Militarily, expect deception. As always, can't trust us. Not an inch. Likelihood? Genuine death wish from some. So, use everything now. While possible, re-establish deterrence. On their term, no more freebies like assassinating Soleimani. Minimal response, no more embassy destruction, like Israel and Syria. No more leader assassinations. In apartments, with families, no more scientist killing. Nothing happens, it never stops. One strike, they hit back. Bloody your nose, kill your people. Hit cities in Israel. Then, see how you play. Human nature, can't imagine otherwise. Hoping they won't kill us, just big bloody nose, illogical for them. Frustrating. Mixed US messages imply two paths. Firepower assembled, doesn't match regime change. Need army for that. Defend locals. Combat power. Lacks rhetoric's punch. Where's this headed? Many want war pulled in. Once raging, intention shift. Defeat Iran. Capabilities follow. Undersell now. Make war cakewalk. Flowers welcome. Consequences later. Trust missing. Political leaders. US, Europe, J.D. Vance. Iran, weird. Diplomacy, can't talk to charge. Khamenei, Rubio echoed, well, last negotiations, deal closed. Then surprise attack. Nuclear sites, all consequences. Now, assassination talk. Leadership, of course. Key guys hidden. Not knocked out, strange. Assume trust. Because we say so. Deterrence, underappreciated. Need to restore. Europe, same with Russia. Point always. Gets Europeans in direct war. Attack radars, nuclear strike detection, bombers, nuclear retaliatory, Putin's residence, possible nuclear command, attacking deterrent, bombing them openly, our men, weapons. Russians do nothing. Desperate need. Restore deterrent. Europe doesn't get it. Triggers war. Do we appreciate Iran's need? Can't become Iraq. Syria, US, Britain, Israel, bomb occasionally. No big deal. Sea region? Great concern. No, not at all. Think like Yemen. Fire a few. We blow stuff. No big deal. Tried ship attack. We dodged. Stopped. To avoid Syria, missiles sent. No consequence. Nigeria, Somalia, recent Syria strikes. Anti-ISIS claims no blowback. Ever. Belief? Perpetual. Iran can't. Won't. If, try, fail. Sources say. High ranks. Our air defense works. Why? Israel demo. Best integrated. US-Israel together. Missiles through. Why ours better? Somehow. No. Don't recognize Iran's right. To deterrence capacity? Foolish if tried. Think free attacks. Like Venezuela. Seduced. Nothing happens. One day, foolishness exposed. Bad. Iran? Worst target. Region. Big. Powerful. Existential threat. Fight to end. Was in Tehran, May 2025, with Alistair Crook, George Galloway, Max Blumenthal, others. Takeaway? Martyr culture. Profound. Compare US? Die free, not slave. Strong. No knees. Fight. Die. Iranians? Powerful martyr ethos. No subordination. Humiliation. Last people to fight. Reason not seen before? All provocations. Signaled. No general war wanted. If won, profound firepower from everywhere. Damage immense. Incentive. Take chin hits. Missiles. Embassy destruction. Assassinations. Survive. Live. Fight another day. Different now. First time. Existential threat. Regime target. No chin hit. No small shot. Coming for you. Dynamic changed. West doesn't recognize. We flipped logic. Weaker Iran? no retaliation before. Now, flipped, only choice, fight all or die. Don't understand. Conditions changed. Nobody wants U.S. fight. All countries avoid, at cost, immensely powerful. But downfall only alternative? Pushed corner, accept war. Crazy? No. Necessary. Say logic, Russia. China, many conclude. After Venezuela, Russians weak, didn't stand friend, fantasy. Russians sail U.S. backyard, fight. No one suggested. Iran different. If Russian, Chinese. Watch, Iran destroyed. Instability, stepping stone, war against them. Assist, large extent. Prevent fall, address separately. First, Iranian perspective, paid attention. Hezbollah. Last year, Israelis attacking. Direct conflict. Invaded southern Lebanon. Claim, Hezbollah. Over 100,000 rockets. Varied. Good one. Saturate Israel defenses. Profound damage. Never happened. Regime, Hassan Nasrallah. Fought, don't use, invite back. Assassinated. Seniors, decapitated. Nasrallah too. Rockets, sheathed. Unused. Israel no price. Iran thinking. Won't repeat. Imagine. Not talked Iran, but paid attention. If arsenal, kept sheathed, grave without use. Can't imagine Ayatollah repeats. If point, use missile arsenal. Bigger, powerful than Hezbollah. Lesson learned, back Russia, China. Don't think go mat. Fight U.S. Even this, help Iran, weighs flights from capitals to Tehran, guess, technology, air defense, robust, defend. Even Iran falls. No war U.S. Cost astronomical. Nuclear possible. Neither once, but not lie down. Bummer. Makes weak. Us believe press. Unstoppable. Do anything. Take asymmetrical attack. Harder detect. Long impact, undermine dollar, work against business, cyber attacks, defend selves, don't look weak. To BRICS, powerful alternative, economically, stable, utterly impotent U.S. force, people hedge, eggs not in China, BRICS basket, can't defend, but if we stumble militarily, Iran stands, with help, opposite, America unstable, more eggs, BRICS, weakens dollar, down long, China, Russia. No shot. Watch us self-destruct. So the real danger isn't just military mismatch. It's the psychology, the perception, the belief that America can strike anywhere, anytime with zero cost. Venezuela reinforced that myth. A clean op, a trophy delivered, Maduro in cuffs, broadcast worldwide. It felt like proof. Unchallenged power. But myths are fragile. And Iran is the anvil that could shatter this one. Let's look closer at the escalation ladder. What happens if the U.S. launches a limited strike? Say, precision hits on missile sites, or command centers, or nuclear-related facilities. The White House might call it surgical, contained. Message sent, Iran sees something else entirely. A declaration of war on survival. Because regime change isn't hidden anymore. It's stated. Trump himself has said variations of it in recent weeks. Advisors echo, the mullahs must go. No off-ramp offered. When your only options are submission or annihilation, submission vanishes. That's when deterrence flips from passive to desperate. Iran has already shown glimpses. After Soleimani's killing in 2020, they fired ballistic missiles at U.S. bases in Iraq. Over a dozen troops injured, traumatic brain injuries, but no deaths. Calculated restraint. After Israel's massive strikes in 2025, the so-called 12-day war, Iran launched over 300 drones and missiles. Many intercepted, but some got through, hit air bases, caused casualties, still measured. Why? Because back then, the regime believed it could absorb blows, survive, rebuild. Now, the red line has moved. The regime itself is the target. So restraint becomes suicide. Imagine the calculus in Tehran right now. Advisors briefing. If we do nothing after the first strike, they will come again. Harder, faster, until nothing is left. The only way to stop the bleeding? Make the price unbearable. Immediately. That means saturation, overwhelm, not tit for tat, but flood. Iran's missile doctrine isn't about precision alone anymore. It's about volume, overmatch, make defenses choke. Recent estimates from open source analysts put their stockpile at 3,000, 4,000 ballistic missiles before recent conflicts. Even after losses, hundreds remain ready, plus cruise missiles, drones, hypersonics in testing, and proxies still in play. The Houthis in Yemen, they've already demonstrated ability to strike deep. Red Sea disruptions, oil tanker hits, even reaching Israel. Hezbollah decimated in 2025. But remnants still exist, and new groups are forming. Iraqi militias, Syrian allies, all watching. A U.S. strike could light multiple fuses at once. Not one front, 5, 10. That's the maelstrom. And don't forget the Strait of Hormuz. 20% of global oil passes through it. Narrow, choke point. Iran has mined it before. In the tanker war of the 1980s, they have anti-ship missiles, Ghadir-class midget subs, speedboats swarming, a few sunk tankers, global energy panic. Prices skyrocket. Even if U.S. Navy clears it quickly, the shock lasts months. Economic warfare on steroids. Now, layer in cyber. Iran has improved dramatically since Stuxnet. They've hit Saudi Aramco, U.S. banks, Las Vegas casinos. If war starts, expect grid attacks, financial systems, infrastructure. Not decisive alone, but compounding chaos. And then the wild card, nuclear threshold. Iran isn't nuclear armed yet, but pressure this intense could push them over the edge. IAEA reports from late 2025 showed enriched uranium at 60%, close to weapons grade. Breakout time, weeks, maybe days if they sprint. A cornered regime might say, if we're going down, we go nuclear. Not use it first, but have it. As insurance, that changes everything. Suddenly, Israel faces an impossible choice. Preempt, risk massive retaliation now. Wait, risk facing a nuclear Iran later. The region holds its breath. Back to the Venezuela comparison one last time. In Caracas, the regime had an exit door. Keep power, keep the spoils, just lose the boss. In Tehran, no door, only a cliff. So they jump, fighting. That's the miscalculation at the heart of it. Believing Iran will behave like Venezuela, they won't, because the stakes aren't power, they're existence. And when existence is on the line, people and nations become unpredictable. They become dangerous. They become martyrs. Remember my Tehran visit in May 2025. The atmosphere was electric, not fear, resolve. People spoke openly about sacrifice, about standing, not because they love war, because they see no alternative. Martyrdom isn't romantic there. It's cultural bedrock. From the Iran-Iraq war, 8 years, hundreds of thousands dead, human wave attacks, children clearing minefields. They endured, they remember. So when leaders say we will fight to the last drop of blood, it's not bluster, it's memory. And that memory says, better die standing than live kneeling. The U.S. rhetoric, most powerful military in history. True in raw terms. Carriers, stealth bombers, global reach. But power isn't just hardware. It's will. It's cost tolerant. America hasn't fought a peer since 1945. Vietnam, Iraq, Afghanistan. All asymmetric, all draining, but never existential. For Iran, every war since 1979 has been existential. They know attrition. They know pain. We've forgotten or convinced ourselves it won't hurt. That's the hubris. The real ticking time bomb isn't the missiles. It's the belief that we can keep hitting and never get hit back hard. One day that belief cracks. And when it does, the fallout won't be contained. It will spread to oil markets, to alliance, to BRICS, to the dollar itself. Because if America stumbles here, visibly, the world recalibrates. China watches, Russia watches, India, Brazil, South Africa, everyone hedging. And the unipolar moment slips further away. Not with a bang, but with a slow bleed, unless cooler heads prevail. But right now, the signals are mixed, the forces are massing, the words are maximalist, and the other side isn't blinking. So the question isn't whether Iran will respond. It's how big and how soon, and whether we are ready for the answer. And that brings us to the heart of the matter, the illusion of impunity. For decades, the U.S. and Israel have operated in what feels like a one-way street with Iran. Assassinations of nuclear scientists, starting in 2010 with Masoud Ali Mohammadi, then Majid Shahriari, Dariush Razainajad, Mostafa Ahmadi Roshan, Mohsen Fakhrizadeh in 2020, the father of Iran's nuclear program. Shot by remote-controlled machine gun, cyber sabotage, Stuxnet in 2010, destroyed thousands of centrifuges at Natanz, explosions at nuclear sites, Parchin, Natanz, again in 2021, power outages, sabotage, theft of nuclear archives in 2018, Mossad operation, smuggled out truckloads of documents, embassy attacks, attacks on IRGC commanders across Syria, hundreds killed, Soleimani, January 2020, Baghdad airport, drone strike, iconic general gone. And through it all, Iranian responses remain limited, symbolic, calibrated. Why? Because Tehran calculated full retaliation invites devastation that could not yet survive. But calculation changes when survival itself is threatened. Today, the message is unmistakable. No more shadows. No more proxies. Direct. Regime ending. Trump's team doesn't whisper regime change. They shout it, Pompeo-style voices back again. Advisors on TV. The Islamic Republic must end. No deniability. No off-ramp. So the old restraint, gone. Replaced by, if this is existential, then respond existential. That means not just proportional, but disproportionate. To reestablish the broken red line, make the attacker bleed so badly they hesitate next time. That's deterrence, reborn in fire. And Iran has tools for it. Their missile forces, organized under the aerospace force of the IRGC, thousands of short, medium, long-range ballistic missiles. Shahabtris, Ghadr, Imad, Sejil, Khorramshahr, Nur, Khaibar Shekin, Fatah 1 and Fatah 2, hypersonic, maneuverable, designed to evade. Range, up to 2,000 kilometers. Covers Israel, U.S. bases in Gulf, Saudi oil facilities. Quantity, enough for saturation salvos. Add cruise missiles, Sumar family, low flying, terrain hugging, drones, Shahed, 136, cheap, mass produced, kamikaze swarms, used already by Russia in Ukraine. Proven, proxies amplify. Houthis, demonstrated Red Sea blockade power, forced shipping reroutes. Insurance rates spike, could target shipping again, or Saudi Aramco directly, as in 2019 a Kaik attack. Iraqi groups, Kataib, Hezbollah, Harakat al-Nujaba, already attacked U.S. bases post-Soleimani. Could resume en masse Syria. Remaining allies, even distant reach. Into Europe, possible via proxies or terror cells, not invasion. But pain point. Now imagine the opening hours. U.S. or Israeli jets strike first. Tehran, Isfahan, Bushehr. Then Iran unleashes waves of missiles. Drones ahead to saturate radars over Israel. Gulf states, U.S. carriers, defenses, Iron Dome, David Sling, Arrow, Patriot, THAAD, Aegis ships. Good, but not infinite. Saturation overwhelms. Leakers get through. Airbases hit. Runways cratered. Aircraft damaged. Ships targeted. Strait closed temporarily. Oil facilities ablaze. Global prices, $150. $200 a barrel overnight. Stock markets tank. And cyber retaliation. Power grids. Refineries. Ports. Not game over, but shock enough to make populations scream, stop. That's the point. Iran doesn't need to win conventional. They need to make continuation too expensive. Politically, economically, humanly. Force de-escalation on their terms. Or drag into prolonged attritional nightmare, which America has poor stomach for. Post 9/11 wars proved it. Iraq, Afghanistan, trillions spent, thousands dead, withdrawal, Taliban flag over Kabul. Iran would be worse. Bigger, more unified, mountainous terrain, 90 million people. No easy occupation. No puppet regime waiting. Just endless insurgency. If it ever gets to ground war, which it might not, because escalation could go nuclear threshold. Not Iran using first. But pushing so hard, they sprint to bomb. 60% enriched uranium stockpiles, IAEA November 2025 report. Enough for several weapons if enriched further. Breakout? Estimates now 1-2 weeks. A desperate regime? might cross. Then Israel faces nightmare square. Preemptive strike becomes temptation, but preemption triggers the very response fear. Cycle accelerate, no off switch. And globally, Russia, China, watching closely, not sending troops, not yet, but supplying, upgrading S-400 systems, already delivered some. Su-35 fighters, talks ongoing. Missile tech transfers, likely. Flights into Tehran continue. Unannounced cargo. If Iran holds, even bloodied, it proves something. U.S. can be checked. Not invincible. BRICS gains credibility. Dollar weaponization loses bite. Sanctions? Less scary. Multipolar world accelerates. If Iran falls quickly, opposite. U.S. dominance reasserted. But at what cost? Oil shock, inflation spike, recession risk, domestic backlash, allied fatigue. Europe already wobbly. And precedent set. Preemptive regime, change wars normalized again. No one sleeps easier. So here we stand. Hubris from a made-for-TV raid in Venezuela, misread as blueprint for Iran, but Venezuela was a transaction. Iran is survival. One had an exit, the other has only fight. And when a nation fights for its life, history shows they fight dirty, long, without quit. We may think we dictate terms, but nature of desperation says otherwise. The next move isn't ours alone. It's shared, and the shared move could burn everything. The Venezuela raid was sold as proof of dominance, a surgical masterpiece, a warning to the world. But it was a warning wrapped in illusion, because true dominance doesn't need theater. It doesn't rely on insiders switching off defenses. It doesn't vanish the moment real resistance appears. Iran isn't Venezuela. Venezuela was a regime that could bargain, could trade one man for survival, could swallow humiliation and keep the palace lights on. Iran faces no such bargain. The rhetoric coming out of Washington isn't about negotiation anymore. It's about erasure. Regime change isn't a side effect. It's the goal. Stated plainly, repeated often, when you tell a nation your entire system must end, you've removed the incentive to de-escalate. You've made restraint suicidal, and suicide missions aren't rational, but they are predictable. History is littered with cornered powers that chose fire over surrender. Japan, 1,945. Germany, 1,945. Vietnam's Tet. Afghanistan's endless resistance. When existence is the stake, calculation shifts from how much can we lose to how much can we make them lose. Iran's leadership knows this math intimately. They've watched Hezbollah's rockets stay in their tubes while their commanders were picked off one by one. They've seen the lesson. Restraint invites decapitation. They won't repeat it. If the first strike comes, whether limited or not, expect the response to be overwhelming, immediate. Multi-front missiles raining on bases, drones swarming ships, proxies activating, cyber grids flickering, oil arteries slashed, not to win outright, to make victory too expensive, to force the question in every Western capital, is this worth it? Because the answer might be no, even if militarily superior, because superiority without will is hollow. America's public has no appetite for another forever war, especially not one that spikes gas to $8 a gallon, triggers blackouts, crashes markets, sends body bags home again. Politicians will feel that heat fast. And when domestic pressure mounts, escalation pauses. That's Iran's play. Not conquest. Deterrence through pain. Reestablish the red line we thought we could erase. And if they succeed, the myth cracks wide open. The most powerful military in history suddenly looks mortal. Vulnerable. Fallible. And that perception shift, more dangerous than any missile. Because once the world sees America can be bloodied and forced to back off, the hedging begins in earnest. BRICS nations breathe easier. The dollar's grip loosens another notch. Sanctions lose their terror. Multipolarity isn't declared. It just happens. While we watch our own overconfidence do the heavy lifting, the tragedy isn't inevitable, but avoiding it requires something Washington rarely shows these days. Strategic humility. Recognize that not every problem is solved by a bigger hammer. That some adversaries can't be bullied into submission. That signaling regime change while hoping for limited war is a contradiction that invites catastrophe. De-escalate the rhetoric. Offer real off-ramps. Understand that deterrence works both ways. Because if we keep treating Iran like Venezuela, a weak state that folds under pressure, we'll learn the hard way that it's not. It's a nation forged in revolution, war, and sanctions. A nation that sees martyrdom not as defeat, but as victory. And when people believe dying standing is better than living on knees, no amount of firepower guarantees compliance. Only mutual restraint does. Right now, restraint is in short supply. Forces are forward deployed. Words are maximal.